Welcome to the Fairfield Shellfish Commission meeting, March 8th, 2023. John Short speaking. We have a call to order. We do have a quorum present as Tim Macklin, Bruce Kiefner, Sean Cohen, John Short. Approval of draft meeting minutes of February 8th, 2023. Everyone have a chance to take a look at the minutes? Any changes, corrections, comments?
I had nothing.
Someone want to make a motion to approve the minutes of February 2023?
Bruce Kiefner makes a motion to approve the minutes.
Tim Macklin seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Bills and communications. Clearing, relay, and planting. As of now, no report. Water and habitat quality. Bruce?
We were going to do a sampling. I don't know, did that happen, Sean?
Yeah, we do sample.
That's for Southport Beach.
Okay. Sorry.
So, water and habitat quality.
Yeah, keep going.
Hey, you, Todd?
So, in February...
Hi there, I'm just leaving the meeting.
Almost for 2 days.
Is everything?
Yep, gotcha.
I'll put on mute for 1 minute.
We received 0.93 inches of rain in the month of February, which is pretty good. Anything else on water and habitat? No? All right, we'll go to permits and access.
Okay, to date, we have 113 permits, 49 resident, 52 senior, and 12 non-resident, for total funds collected of $1,980. So we're off for the new year.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Anything else on permits and access? All right. Southport Beach reopening. Sean and Bruce.
We got a sample. Cindy did it actually herself. We had some scheduling stuff where I could do it some days, Bruce could do it other days, but Cindy brought it up. We haven't gotten numbers back yet, but we're in on that. That's the update for Southport.
Yeah. Anything, Bruce?
No,
Commercial shellfish regulations. So, since the last meeting, I talked to, did you get to talk to Dave at all about what we're talking about?
Not directly. I talked to him.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I don't know what you were talking about. But the only reason I talked to him because I mentioned a proposal that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're getting to the end, and if we don't make a decision pretty much now, once it gets past the next couple months, it puts us into seaweed season in summer and boat traffic. And
so, real quick, can you just say your name?
Oh, Mike Larvez.
All right.
And in the fall, they're going to dredge Mill Creek, so that's too late for that. So my proposal is, we talked about this, it's very simple, straightforward. It will make us really happy, and I'm hoping it works in with what you want to do. We know you don't want anybody in Ash Creek, that's fine. We do. It's not a good idea to close it for regulatory reasons, but we won't do it.
There's a study going on.
Yeah, I know, but anyway, that's fine. We didn't even mention it. We propose opening it from April 1st to the first week in May. 5 weeks, something like that. You could call it a pilot program and only issue 2 permits. Having one for me, 1 grand, but we still only use 1 boat.
So opening, what are you proposing that we open?
Pretty much what's not Ash Creek. But mostly we would like to go to Mill Creek for mostly. But you open it from April 1st to first week in May, and that gets you that way it will be closed by the time the conditional restricted relay mooring area is open before the boats get in there. And that would make us happy, and it pretty much coincides with you want extremely limited entry. And like I say, you can call it a pilot program, and we'll see how this works and how the residents like and that kind of thing. And go take that info going to next year. And historically, when you work up close to people, we have a very good track record in Westport and Norwalk. We work right up to people, so you can almost feed the dogs. And most people are more curious than anything else. They come out, they talk to us. Most of them don't even know there's oysters right there. Because I've lived here 20 years and I didn't even know we had shellfish, they're 30 feet. And they're mostly curious, and you explain to the permit process and that kind of thing. And it's usually fine. Usually that's not an issue. And we already have to call it into the DEP, where we do what we do when we work those areas. And in Westport, I email Marine Police on one phone. We can email one, and it's 5 weeks for that limited entry, and that would be...
You're proposing mature oysters?
Well, whatever's there.
Pretty much what's there.
I mean, it's restricted relay, most of it, and which means it's not prohibited. You can take any size, basically. And it's better for the bed, too. I mean, if they get to sit there, they don't really work. The fellow mentioned if they get too big, they just fly off, and that's what they do. The predators are there. As a matter of fact, they had a drill problem in the Westport we've noticed coming along. And after you take the drills out, and we don't put them back, by the way. I can show you pictures, thousands of drills coming back. And that's, we're hoping that because it's not something like that, then the whole thing goes down the tubes, and it's another year, and another resources wasted, and nobody...
And say like, let's just say, what does a bushel of oysters go for? If you were to harvest it, what would be like a going rate?
Well, we don't sell them by the bushel.
Right. So what would be the going rate for you harvesting?
What do they pay for seed in the river?
In the seed, they're paid, I don't know, I think it's $10 a bushel for seed. You can sell it as seed.
Yeah.
And we don't sell seed. We can. It depends what lids, too. I mean, you're not guaranteed all lids, because that's got to sit 50 degrees for 2 weeks, 50 degrees for 2 weeks. It's not too bad this time of year. If you were in there April and May, by the end of May, reach 50 degrees, then you could sell them mid-June into June. But,
right. So if we were to do any kind of thing like that, we'd have to, because that river's been there, no one's harvested in there.
yeah, I know.
Ever that I know of.
Well, his father's, yeah, like all
how long was that, Phil?
80s, 90s.
Yeah, so we're talking 30 to 40 years ago.
In there about, 10 years ago.
So 30 to 40 years ago.
10 years ago.
So there's oysters, yeah, they're along the edge, and they could be harvested. But if any oysters were to be taken out, we'd have to have a way so that they could regenerate again with like shell or something like that.
Oh, we want to sell it or sell there.
Yeah.
We always want, it's pointless to put it in the river because they're going to dredge it. Maybe next year you could sell there after they dredge
No, they're dredging the outer portion.
Oh, okay.
You know how far they're going?
But that's fine, we can replace y'all. I was going to propose that anyway, I just forgot to add that in next one.
Yeah, the dredging, if you're familiar with Southport, Chicago, the South Wharf, just at the northernmost end of the breakwater, which you probably can't even see because it's covered up with sand, that little blip of sand that comes out, that's where the dredging will happen. That dredging will not happen in the best of circumstances for a year.
Yeah.
The boats and dry docks, so. You want to
Because
make your
of-
retrofit on the thing.
But yeah, I mean, what kind of quantity is that one? Up 100 bushel, what do you want?
Oh, I don't know. I
You can make that-
have to go over all this.
That's fine.
So, the thing is, that we'd have to set regulations and all that, so then we have to have a special meeting. First, then we'd have to discuss it. Yeah, it would be, nice if some of those oysters got out of there, and then we could start regenerating or something. We have to put shell in there, but,
How far up would they be going?
probably as far as they...
Right up to the road, again.
Yeah,
Up
right
to
up to
Tide
Tide
Mill.
Mill. I mean, if you're gonna harvest there, you'd have to go in those areas. And, we do have the ability to, you would use hand tongs or rakes or something?
Yeah, we can hand dredge or tongs, or we even hand pick at low tide sometimes, depending on the spot. So
Right.
there's a couple of spots you can hand dredge, and you're only gonna get a couple hours, so you tide.
Yeah.
Either way, whether you're hand picking, whether you're tonging, or whether you're dredging, you only get a few hours on one side of the tide or the other, they can be in there.
All right, so we heard this proposal, so we'll have to think about what we're gonna do.
You're saying you need this, for it to work, it has to be April 1st of May?
Yeah, because once it gets past that, and once you get into May, you're into the conditional restricted relay, and that closes till next winter,
Mhm.
and then you're also gonna get moorings in both, they'll also stay out of there on weekends.
Yeah, getting in and out of Southport would be a
Challenge.
hassle.
Yeah.
Once you lose that time of year, you pretty much lost it till next year.
Mhm. Well, we'll discuss it, and then if we decide we're gonna do something like this, we'll have to set actual regulations, so then it's a 2-week, we have to notify the public for 2 weeks and then have this meeting to set the regulations. So, there's no regulations right now. The only regulations there were for Ash Creek, and those are nullified. So we don't have any commercial shellfish regs. So we'd have to do all that. So,
How do you guys feel about that? What do we got, any kind of consensus on how that sounds?
yeah, it sounds like, it's a plan that could work. It's just, is there any actual benefit?
What would make us very happy, and what makes us happy also replenish it, because we don't want to be in there gone, we like it to be replenished and shell, and we'd be more than happy to put shell in
You
there.
gotta look at it also as, are people gonna start complaining? Is it gonna be worth the trouble we might cause for the few dollars we're gonna get back? So it is, Southport Harbor, it's not Black Rock Harbor or.
No, I know, but it's not that much different than Westport, and in Westport, we get on very well, and the waterfront people in Norwalk, all along Marvin Beach. Matter of fact, we were hand picking back there in May, and I hate to admit it, but we weren't paying attention, and our rowboat drifted away on us, because the tide came up, and the people that were watching us came out and offered us their kayak to go out and get it.
All right, so that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Myself, Tim, and Sean will discuss it. And then if we decide we're gonna do something, we have to set a special meeting, get the regulations in place, and then we issue a license or a permit.
It's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
And we haven't done anything in there. We do have the right to actually have people pull their moorings and lift their docks and all that stuff every 3 years, but, all right, that's what we're gonna do.
All right, thanks.
I gotta talk to Dave anyway, so I'll talk to Dave Perry about it, see what he suggests. But, there is the whole plan of doing a third at a time. Doing a third one season, a third the next season, a third, you reshell the first one, then the second one, and then you go back to that one, and you got oysters again.
Yeah.
So,
If you look at Southport Harbor, up by the tide mill, there are a lot of oysters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then in between the tide mill and the mooring field,
Well,
it's all mud. There are no oysters. And then
yeah,
then you look in the harbor, there are oysters on the walls,
Mhm.
but the bottom in
Yeah,
Southport
yeah.
Harbor,
Yeah, I know.
mud.
all right, so that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Anyone else got anything on commercial?
Mm-mm.
Oyster bed development?
Pretty quiet, still recycling shell. Campbell's been helping me on the weekends, but everybody's pretty slow, so there's been not maybe 5-6 buckets a week at that, so pretty quiet. And then that's it. Okay.
Well, we do have, was it Noah coming? We have to walk him around the marsh
Yeah.
for this special, on the 13th. That's it. Communication, Sean?
I missed one, typo on communications. So it wasn't Tim Macklin, it was Tim Bishop that's been in the loop all the time on Chaitanya, the Eagle Scout. I sent him the forward from Chaitanya earlier this week. He's getting him on the conservation agenda for this, what are they, next week or something? The Eagle Scout?
Yeah, I read the email, but I can't remember.
Yeah, so he basically said, thanks for the reminder, I'll get him on the thing, and he's going to send me a copy of what he's going to be presenting beforehand. I'll pop by if I can. Allowing. And other than that, we're just, standard posting on the social accounts. Hopefully we can get some fun out of this once this starts.
Yeah. Everything that goes up there, people liking that, so.
This will be a change of pace. It'll mix it up a little bit off the pretty beach shots.
It gets a little bit warmer out, people will start. Yeah. What about the...
The only other thing I was thinking about is, it's interesting. We have the flip of what normally happens, right? It seems like the seniors, they buy their passes fast because we have more seniors sold right now than regular residents, and that will flip at some point. So I'm wondering whether or not communicating separate, I don't want to say value propositions to seniors, maybe we should start talking about, is everyone in town looking for the same thing, or should we almost kind of split some messaging once in a while and say, if you're over the age of X, here's, I don't say benefits of such and such, but it's a good constituency. There's less of them, and they're buying a lot of passes.
Yeah, I know. And we'll leave it at $10.
Yep.
So what are you saying, the benefits, like...
I'm talking about potentially thinking about how do we do outreach to, let's call it, the sort of regular families, but also saying people that are older and their kids are empty nesters, kids are out of the house, and featuring examples of why that's a great way to spend your time, attention, money, whatever it might be.
It's a great family, grandparent type thing.
Even if there's not distinct things to get them to do it, it's almost like calling out, maybe looking for photo ops of when people that are of a certain age are doing it and highlighting your peers are doing this. This is an activity that's low impact, if you will.
It is. So that group of women are out there all the time.
Yep.
They have to be in their 80s.
Yep.
So, all right. Did anyone get a chance to look into that magazine, that Recreation Fairfield thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I think I sent you...
Bruce Kiefner talking.
Bruce Kiefner. I communicated with Sean. I was down at the rec center getting my permit, and I asked them about the book. And they said, yes, we're putting the schedule together now, and that was about 2 weeks ago. And I thought that I'd sent Sean but if you look in the back of the book, I think assistant director of rec is the woman
who you can contact.
Yeah, and if you call them up, they are incredibly, I happen to be there in person, but they're very, very accommodating. And I explained my role and what we wanted to do, and we felt that we weren't looking for an ad necessarily, we were just saying that there's an activity we thought was important that a lot of people were interested in. She said, yeah, great, it sounds good, talk to so-and-so.
Okay.
So they were very positive about that.
That'll definitely
Did you want to talk to so-and-so, or we sent it to Sean?
I'm looking for it. Let's touch base after the meeting. One of us will talk to him.
Yeah. You want to handle it, or?
We'll work it out.
All right. Anything else on communications? Downwellers, no report?
Tim Macklin, no, I have nothing. That's even fired up. April's going to be pretty crazy for me, so I guess we'll talk about it next meeting, maybe May.
Yeah, we'll see the water temperatures. Probably going to be a bit warmer a little earlier this year.
Yeah, and doing a little replumbing of those, right?
Yeah. Inside the tanks. Yeah. All right. Reports from Conservation Department. Shellfish fund balance is $30,026.12 as of February 28th. Like Bruce said, 113 permits issued. This year we've been open 48 days, closed 11. And, our Shellfish budget status is status quo. I don't hear anything about it, so. Old business, any old business you want to talk about?
Okay, I can just go off the top of my head.
New business, it looks like Ash Creek Conservation Association is going to be able to get some kind of, ordinance set in place and have a fine for people digging,
Good.
over in,
You gonna put signs up?
they put signs up, I guess they put a lot of them up. I don't know my phone.
They put the yellow on the paper.
So that'll be good. Anything else?
Yeah, I have one thing, new business. Campbell, someone from the Black Rock Yacht Club reached out to him about doing some kind of educational outreach with Black Rock Yacht Club to their sailing school for days when they're not sailing. And they mentioned doing an oyster garden, which I reached out to Bureau of Agriculture just to check in there. There's like a hard no on oyster gardening for right now.
So what exactly is an oyster garden?
That's there is a definition for it, but they don't want people planting their own oysters or getting seed without watchful eye of Bureau of Agriculture. So the general public, they're not, but they're in the process of putting out a kind of general memo regarding that and why it's not good for Connecticut. And I know they do it in other states, but not good in Connecticut, and they're going to give a list of reasons why. So oyster gardening is a no, but that doesn't mean we couldn't do some kind of like outreach or education on shellfish and the benefits of shellfish and what they do. And
I mean, there's some oysters over there, but
yeah,
the water's not good.
yeah. But anyway, I don't know if there's anybody. I mean, it's kind of we did that once a while ago when we did a small presentation, and, which would be nice to get that going up again in some capacity.
So would we be involved with this, or
I mean,
or just Kim?
Shellfish Commission probably could be. She reached out to just me, but I'm sure, I mean, I don't think she'd be like adverse to having the Shellfish Commission involved, because like, yeah. It's kind of
You one-man show.
kind of what you guys do, like the shellfish, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, it's easy when you got, third graders or something?
Yeah, they were like,
Fourth graders?
yeah.
What, these are the kids in the junior sailing program?
Hmm?
These are the junior sailors at Black Rock? Is that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was everything from like 6 to 10 years old or 12 years old, maybe.
Outfit crew.
Yeah. It's like elementary school,
Yeah.
maybe like 6th grade.
All right, so go on.
Anyway, so, well, I mean, if Campbell just reached out and passed it along and just asked if we do anything like that, and I said that I would check in the oyster garden, which is a no, but it could be an opportunity just for us to do some more educational outreach if we wanted to create like a small curriculum, maybe work with Campbell on that. That he
They could sail over to Fairfield and you could show them some stuff at Ash Creek.
Yeah.
and the problem is that the kids are dropped off there, they have to work with them on site. So,
Yeah.
you know, the mobility is not there.
Yeah, no, it was for days when they couldn't go out sailing, you know, just to kind of
Yeah, when
enrich.
it's really raining and blowing.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, we could start there, build something, and then possibly do it for other, you know, the school system. Actually, one of those, John Dilley, who's head of the Conservation Commission. Yeah, Miller Wetlands, anyway. I was talking to him, his wife. They do like a educational presentation. It's been going on for years in Fairfield for Mill River for elementary school, and they're talking about doing something for estuaries too, so it could be part of that. So I'll continue a conversation with him and them and see if we can possibly get something going.
All right, any other new business or informational? Any other? Public comment? Wants to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Ted Mack will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Todd will second that.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.
I know, right?